Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger. My friends, do I have a treat for you today? Because we have a look at the final 3 characters in Street Fighter 6, and it's not just some short clip. We actually get a pretty decent look at all the characters. We have Zangief, we have Lily, and we have Cammy. So we're going to go over them in the order that they appeared. I'll timestamp the video if you want to skip ahead to a specific character, but otherwise, let's get started. There is a lot of good stuff here. So first off, starting with Zangief, we can see he's in like a big fighting pit taking on a lot of people, wearing a wrestling mask, although knocked off, revealing the true form. And man, oh man, the Street Fighter 6 art style, I don't know what I expected Zangief to look like, but he looks pretty crazy. So to open up here, the old boy has learned some new tricks here. We got a triple chop, reminiscent of like Ric Flair. Could be a normal, like a target combo, could be a special move given that it's 3 hits, not too sure, but it's there and it looks cool regardless. And also, jiggle physics work both ways now in Street Fighter 6. And keeping with the 3s, Zangief now inherits a stomp ability here, stomping on the enemy's toes. Now in wrestling, this is definitely a heel move, so does this signify a bad guy turn for Zangief? We're gonna have to wait and see, I guess. Here we're seeing Zangief's, I'm assuming, regular forward throw. So it's a quick scoop slam into a textbook snap elbow. Now, pretty basic in terms of wrestling anyways, but I want to expose the business here for a minute. I want you to look where Honda's hand is, kind of on the upper end of Zangief's thigh. You do that in wrestling to hold your body in position for a body slam, because otherwise you would just fall over, or, you know, someone's too big and you couldn't support their weight. It takes a lot of the pressure off. So if you didn't know, this is one of the dark secrets of wrestling, and Honda keeping it kayfabe with Zangief here. All in all, just strong animation, looks really good. Zangief is upping his wrestling game. And speaking of upping the wrestling game, his drive impact, this is what we call a Mongolian chop. Followed by the classic, of course, Zangief has the spinning pile driver, the signature move of the character for over 30 years. Just as crazy as ever, going up and going all the way down. The impact looks really good. And I love the way he kind of just like shoves you off at the end like you're just a piece of trash. Here, another classic setup. So jump, light kick, which has very low block stun. So when you land, we go for the grab. So this guy here, it has a couple names. Atomic suplex, running powerbomb. Generally, this is running bear grab. If done right beside the enemy, the grab itself changes. We get the suplex into the giant flying double suplex. Having a lot of grab options is very good for Zangief. And here we have another returning for him. Next up for Zangief, we have a proper standing dropkick that sends the foe flying. And also, once again here, we got those jiggle physics. The thing is, that dropkick wall splats the enemy, so we get combo potential after the fact. So here's, I'm zooming forward, heavy punch headbutt into the lariat. So the dropkick maybe won't be as strong in neutral, but if you're anywhere near the corner, you're going to wall splat the enemy and get a free combo out of it. Sounds pretty good to me. Next up, we can see that Tundra Storm indeed returns to Zangief. So this is his kick counter. So similar to say how like Goldberg would catch people's kicks in WCW back in the day, much the same here for Zangief. And also, speaking of Goldberg, we're going to see something else a little bit later on. This move is going to be like hyper matchup specific, honestly. That's just how it's going to be. But when you need it, you'll be glad you had it. And next up, I know Zangief fans, you're very happy to see this. Yes, air pile drivers are still a thing, and yes, you can combo into it from air headbutt as well. This was always one of the most fun additions for Zangief in Street Fighter V when it just became like a base move instead of being Ultra 2, and I'm sure it'll do a lot of work for Zangief. You gotta protect the skies, after all, right? Now, his level 2 super. So we get the little cinematic startup here, and yo, it's V-Trigger 1, except it sucks the enemy into a jackhammer. So once again, Goldberg, WCW, his famous finishing move, the jackhammer, Zangief has it. Now the question is, since it has the similarity to V-Trigger 1 Street Fighter 5, will it be able to suck in enemies, avoid projectiles, all that kind of stuff? Will it be a neutral tool to help win the game? Or is it just going to be a hit into a big move? Hopefully it maintains a lot of the utility. You don't want to see that to go away. And going from that, we have his level 3 super. So this guy is the Bolshoi Storm Buster. So we start up here with a big lariat knocking the enemy down, Zangief playing it up to the crowd, big boot to the gut, and then Well, it's time for the spin cycle, the giant spinning pile driver. I think they cut a little bit out there. I don't think that's the full animatic, but still, regardless, that's what we got. And yeah, Zangief looks amazing in this engine. If you're a Zangief fan, I know you gotta be happy. Dude looks like $1,000,000. Looks absolutely fantastic. And speaking of people being happy, if you're unaware, I'm a little bit of a t.hawk super fan. And now we have Lily, who is apparently the daughter of t.hawk. And well, that will become more apparent as you see her gameplay footage. So the little girl inheriting the big boy's moveset? Well, yeah, kinda. Turns out it's exactly that. So first thing you're probably going to notice out of her is she's a weapon fighter. Not too many weapon fighters in Street Fighter, and she's another one on that pile. So she fights with two very large clubs that one help increase her reach because her reach seems pretty decent, and two also kind of double as wings, as it were, for some of the more t.hawk inspired moves. Now, next up, just to prove she is a big character in a small character's body, she has the grappler jump in. Now, I know it doesn't look like you would normally expect it. Usually it looks something like this. Zangief has it, t.hawk has it, Potemkin, Guilty Gear has it, right? It's a move that basically hits both sides. The kind of jumping you can be sloppy and lazy with, and if you get the cross up, you get the cross up grade, and if not, then ain't no big deal. As you can see here, both clubs are extended as maximum apart from each other, so I have to assume it hits both sides, and therefore is the traditional grappler cross up. From there, follows it up with what looks to be a sweep, and next we see her forward throw, basic throw, and I like the pose here because she's pulling off like a, yeah, I did it, look at me. And here we get a look at her taunt, I'm assuming anyways, because it's very elaborate, very long animation. So she busts out an old school style camera. I haven't seen these since like I was a kid in the late 80s. And yeah, it has a hitbox, like it can hit you. So if it can hit you, maybe it does 1 or 2 points of damage. And therefore, this is like the move you're going to fish for to humiliate your enemy. You got to kill him with the camera flash, just like say these boogers in Street Fighter V. Next up, we start seeing the power of the clubs themselves. Definitely some good range to work with. So first thing, I'm assuming this is Crouch Fierce Punch multi-hitting. And then it definitely looks like it's special canceled into this wicked, just kind of double-sided bonk with the clubs. Definitely a big part of the game plan is just going upside your head with the clubs and caving your head in. And now we have this whole section of the trailer. And this is just to clear up any confusion of whose kid you might think this is. Because definitely t.hawk's. We start here. This is Condor Spire. This is Condor Dive. This is the Tomahawk Buster, t.hawk's effective Dragon Punch, if you will. These are 3 super core moves for t.hawk. Now, also to add, because this is potentially a Lily flavor to this, you might notice the large effect of wind on the character. Now, it could just be cosmetic, but she does actually have a unique mechanic to herself, a buff, install, if you will. This is the Condor Wind. So I got a press release from Capcom here, and this is how it's described to me. Condor Wind will grant 1 wind-clad stock, which powers up the Condor Spire, the Condor Dive, and the Tomahawk Buster. So perhaps it's something like you charge the Condor Wind move, then you get a wind-clad stock, and then you can burn that stock on powering up any one of these t.hawk-inspired moves. Once again, like stuff like Condor Dive, it's multi-hitting here, normally it is not. So I'm assuming that is because she has the stock and is powering up the move. Much the same, the Condor Spire goes much further and farther than usually would, so I think it's due to the buff. Mechanics-wise, I guess you could say it's actually somewhat similar to Jam in Guilty Gear. Build the stock, burn the stock, right? Regardless though, definitely Master of the Skies, can take the fight to the enemy anywhere. This is exactly like t.hawk. These are his moves. And speaking of t.hawk moves, just in case you are wondering, yes, the signature Mexican Typhoon is definitely there. So she uses her clubs to help build like a spin cycle on the enemy, then lift them into the air, and then slam them to the ground. Now, in this version specifically, I do wonder if it's almost like Street Fighter 4 version of t.hawk, because you see she bounces back very far away. In Street Fighter 4 t.hawk, the heavy version of the Mexican Typhoon, it would leave you basically full screen from the enemy, but you would do the most damage. If you did, say, the light version, it would do comparatively much less damage, but it'll leave you directly on top of the enemy. So I wonder if that trait might persist in Street Fighter 6 for Lily. Regardless though, however it turns out, no matter how big your character is, even though Lily is little, she will be slamming you like nobody's business. Now here we can see Lily get a hit, confirm into a drive rush combo out, and we get a look at her level 1 super. So going by the press release, this is the Breezing Hawk, and well, basically she's out to give you a concussion here, as she's just taking those bong sticks and going crazy on you, just hitting you left, right, front, and center, everywhere while she spins around. If Cabal did something like this to you in Mortal Kombat, this would be a fatality. At bare minimum, though, looks like Lily has a easy to work with, easy to hit confirm strike super, so if you're ever looking to spend meter, this looks like it's always going to be a solid option for you. And finally, we get a look at her level 3 super. So we see this, and this is the Raging Typhoon. This is T.Hawk's Ultra 1 in Street Fighter 4. So she spins, takes a big breath to get the energy to go, to really put you in there in the spin cycle, and goes nuts. However, she's not quite as accurate as T.Hawk, doesn't quite have the years of experience yet. So she sort of botches the ending, and the finale of the move is her falling and just landing on top of you. Maybe by the time we hit Street Fighter 7, she'll have mastered the technique and will do it more properly, but for now, it works with her whole aesthetic. The big boy moves, but still kind of cute and silly in the end. And that's Lily. So for me, I was the most excited for her of these 3 characters by a lot. And to me, so far, she's absolutely living up to the hype. I can't wait to get my hands on her in the proper game, full game of Street Fighter 6. And finally, Cammy. So Cammy, long anticipated, has an all new look. For my money, I like this look a lot more than the usual look, because she looks more like a human being here. Something actually practical to wear. And here with the clip, don't worry, dive kicks were skipping neutral all day long in Street Fighter 6 as well. So to open up, looks like we got some new tricks. So this appears to be starting with stand heavy punch, and then going directly into what appears to be a target combo. I know in all these videos I keep saying it, but I'm always just surprised with Street Fighter 6 how many more target combos there is now in this game compared to how it usually is in Street Fighter. Next we see stand heavy punch again, but instead of the target combo, we go into her classic special move, the spin knuckle. Next up we can see a combo, basic combo sure, but combo nevertheless. Looks to be stand medium punch linking into stand light kick into the classic Cammy spiral arrow. So, just like Zangief, right? There is new stuff, but don't worry, the classics are all here as well. Gotta spam those spiral arrows. Now this one is interesting. So on paper here, it's her back medium punch target combo and go into a cannon spike, except, well, geez Louise, there's a lot more going on with that cannon spike than just the usual one hit. And she's not glowing or anything, so she didn't burn any bar on it. So what this is, according to the press release I got, a new mechanic for her. Certain moves like this and Hooglin combination and spiral arrow, if you do the heavy version of the move and hold it, it'll delay the move slightly, but then the move properties will change. You'll get new animations and do more overall damage. So basically it's a fun way to add more utility and use to some moves without changing any of the core concepts of it. It's a straight up addition, doesn't take anything away, I like it. Now also, this is either Cammy's taunt or maybe a round pose win, but I've already seen it on Twitter, you guys are animals for it, so enjoy, I guess. And here's the part of the trailer that just brings back the Vietnam flashbacks, basically. So we got Hooligan into dive kick, and Cammy's dive kick, ugh. Have fun if you play Cammy, but the rest of us, not so much. Next up here, we see what looks to be some sort of jumping axe kick, like a Jaguar kick or something like that, or like Makoto's kick, and a Hooligan into the Hooligan throw. So that classic will remain. And here we get an idea of a proper combo out of Cammy. So has a pretty basic starter. It's just jump heavy kick into stand heavy punch. The thing though, we went over about that target combo. So we uses the first part of the target combo, but nothing else. EX dive kick, EX spiral arrow, and EX cannon spike. Now next up is actually a very fun reference. So this is her level 2 super, and hits JP and goes on his neck, spins around, and then kind of breaks his spine a little bit, right? And this has to be a reference to Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. As near the beginning of the movie, Cammy kills a politician in much the exact same way. So I find that really fun. I like the referential stuff here. And now we're about to go into the level 3 cinematic super. But before we do, just this segment right here. So we see that axe kick again, but we see it started from the hooligan kick. So it could very well be that, as we mentioned before, how cannon spike has the held property. If you hold the move, it becomes different. So that could be like dive kick, but the held property, and becomes those axe kicks, and then you combo out from there. Maybe, anyways. Could also be an all new move. And as for the big level 3 itself, so Cammy takes the pose, and all sorts of cannon drills. It's effectively like Maximum Spider, but cannon drills. And then, oh, turns out she's behind you and gives you one big final kick to the back of the head. I'm assuming this is the regular version of the level 3, not the critical art version, because the very first ever Street Fighter 6 leak did show this exact super, although the end animation was a little bit different as she was like kind of high up in the air. But regardless, still looks really cool. And that, my friends, is the trailer, and that is the 3 characters, our last 3 characters for Street Fighter 6. So no more surprises here. We're going straight forward to launch at this point, although launch is still a long time away. It's still June 2nd. Come on, man. That's like an illegal amount of time away from now. Still very happy to see this footage. Helps ease the pain, as it were. And let me know what you guys think about the characters. I'm very impressed by everything I've seen so far. Every Street Fighter 6 character just looks plain fun. So post in the comments below what you think, and otherwise, well, we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.
Yeah.